Voices of CFMA, Construction Financial Management Association's podcast featuring conversations with our members. I'm your host, Kate Platt, CFMA's marketing coordinator. This month, I'm joined by Chief Financial Officer of Westcor Companies in Las Vegas, Nevada, a certified construction industry financial professional, a man with many, many blazers, and the current host of Chat with the Chairman. And oh yeah, he's also the 2020-21 Chairman of CFMA, Kevin Booth. Thanks for joining us, Kevin.
Hi, Kate. Thanks for having me here today.
So let's just jump right into this. And can you tell me, how did you get into this line of work?
Well, I started out not in construction. But the first 10 years of my career in accounting was in the hospitality industry, which here in Las Vegas, that's our number one industry. So it's not too surprising. But after, as I said, the first 10 years, I found myself with Westar Development, who had a hospitality division, and one of their subsidiaries was Westcor Construction, which is a partnership between Westar and Coronado. And their CFO had retired, and the CFO of Westar Development that I reported to was filling in temporarily, and he asked if I would consider moving over to Westcor. And I actually turned him down a couple of times. He kept coming back and saying, "Come on, we really, I think you could do this." And I said, "I'm really comfortable with hospitality. I understand the business well. Restaurants, bars, nightclubs. I've got that all dialed in. I don't know the first thing about construction accounting." And I remember him telling me, "Oh, come on, get over it, Booth. It's all widgets." And so finally, I gave in. And I got to say, shortly after I made the transition into construction accounting, I realized he was wrong. It's not all widgets, not at all. Construction accounting is completely different. We don't have WIP schedules in hospitality. I mean, so percentage complete, that doesn't translate. So I really was lost, but found my way eventually.
That's awesome. And what brought you to CFMA?
Well, it was just that. It was the fact that I had
Being
made that
lost?
transition, being lost, exactly. Making that transition from hospitality to construction. Fortunately, we had the same CPA for all of our Westar companies. Jim Main, who's currently with Clifton Larson Allen, and Jim, came to me and said, "Hey, I've got an idea. Why don't you meet me over at the Stardust Hotel for a luncheon?" As it turned out, that was a CFMA luncheon. The CFMA Las Vegas chapter used to meet at the Stardust Hotel. And he said, "Yeah, come on out. I think you just should meet these people here, and who knows, you might find a few nuggets." Which is another inside Las Vegas joke, because not the Nugget Hotel, it was the Stardust Hotel. But yeah, we went to that luncheon at the Stardust. I got to meet members of the Las Vegas chapter, and they helped me tremendously on making that transition into the construction industry.
That's awesome. And thank you for clarifying the Stardust Nugget joke there, because right over my head. Looking back on your term, everything that you've done, navigated, accomplished as your time as CFMA's chairman, how do you feel? And, what are your thoughts on moving into your next role as immediate past chairman?
Like I say, first of all, I talked to a lot of past chairmen, but before my year, and almost unanimously, they told me that the time is going to fly by as chair, and their words of wisdom were to be in the moment. And so they were right. The year flew by, but I did try very hard all year long to be in the moment and to soak it all up, and to focus on the task at hand. As far as looking back on the whole year, obviously one of our major accomplishments this year was the merger, CFMA and ICCIFB. I'm very excited about that. I think that this merger is going to yield tremendous results. We're going to strengthen certification. We're going to be able to promote it, and to be able to increase the value of certification within the construction industry. So that's going to be huge for both CFMA and for CCIFP certificate holders for years to come. Another major accomplishment we had this year was the creation of a diversity and inclusion committee. It's something that's been long overdue, and with social unrest this year, it really came to the forefront. And so we asked ourselves, what is it that we can do as an association? And to answer those questions, we created this diversity and inclusion committee. And I'm looking forward to the results of that committee, not only in this coming year, but in many years to come. Additionally, this year we haven't rolled it out yet, but it's very close. We're working on a new website, which is going to be very exciting for our members. That's also been a long time coming. The current website, while very functional, is not nearly as aesthetic as it could be or as easy to navigate.
Fair assessment.
Yes, so the new website should be coming very, very soon. I've had the opportunity to see what it's going to look like, and I'm very excited about that. But also this year, especially due to the pandemic, it kind of rushed us into it, but we've made a major shift to digital content, a digital transformation, if you will, this last year. We've been growing our YouTube channel. We created the series Chat with the Chairman. So it was very exciting and fun to record monthly episodes of that each year. We did the 38 questions video, which was obviously a lot of fun. We did the In It Together video. So we've grown a lot of content on our YouTube channel this year. We've also branched out into podcasts like this one right here. Thanks to you, Kate, with Voices of CFMA, and that's very exciting this year. And we've also had other digital content with newsletters, our COVID Resource Center early on in the year. Our COVID Resource Center has been a big help for our members. Another very exciting digital transformation for this year. So that's looking back. Looking forward as to what's next. I do look forward to next year as the immediate past chair. I look forward to supporting our incoming chair, Pam Hepburn, and all that she has on her plate for next year and initiatives that she has planned. I look forward to helping her with that and supporting her in any way I can.
So you've accomplished a lot. You're pushing us forward with a full plate into Pam's tenureship. So really excited for what's next for you.
Yeah, that's and I guess that's the next thing to consider is what is next for me. And so I'm very passionate about our leadership development committee. So in years to come, I hope to continue to support leadership development. I'm very passionate about that. I'd also like to help the diversity and inclusion committee as well. So I'm not going to be disappearing. I'll still be around.
No riding off into the sunset for you.
No.
Awesome. What is a favorite project that you've worked on for any company at any point where you look back and you say, wow, so happy that I got to be part of this?
Wow. Well, as far as a single project, it's hard to nail down a single project. But I will say, if I want to look at my years of volunteering at CFMA as a project, that would be without a doubt the most rewarding and the most fun. I was a CFMA member for many years without volunteering. I would attend events, attend luncheons, and definitely loved the Building Profits magazine. Would read it cover to cover. So while I was an involved member, I wasn't really volunteering my time. And it really wasn't until I began to participate on committees that I really saw the real true value of CFMA. And it's a cliche. People say when it comes to volunteer work that you get more out of it than you put in. But I will guarantee you when it comes to CFMA, I have definitely gotten more back than I've put in by volunteering. The relationships that I've built over the years with people that I've worked with. When you attend a luncheon, a chapter luncheon, and you might sit next to somebody at a luncheon and you get to know them over that hour or hour and a half, and you might exchange business cards. But when you sit next to somebody on a committee volunteering, that's a real connection. And those connections last a lifetime. And so I've got hundreds, if not thousands, of friends now through CFMA across the country and in Canada, thanks to the volunteer work that I've done. So that by far has been the most rewarding project, if you will, is just by volunteering at CFMA. And as far as this current year, one of the things that we did as officers at the start of the year was we put together a list that we called One Thing, and each of the officers and executive staff came up with one thing that they would like to get accomplished this year. And we all agreed that we would help each other get these one things accomplished. So we've got a list called One Thing. And I know this kind of sounds like a Seinfeld episode where where George Costanza and Jerry Seinfeld would argue about, well, if it's a list of 9 things, why is it called One Thing? Why isn't it called 9 Thing? But it's our list of one thing, and there are 9 things on our list. The 9 of us each put forward one thing that we would like to accomplish, and that's been a very rewarding experience, helping each other get those things accomplished. And we're almost at the finish line, and I'm happy to say that we're going to get all of those one things accomplished this year.
So what you're saying is teamwork really does make the dream work.
Yes, I like it. Yes.
Okay. You know what? For the amount of time that you spend volunteering and giving back your time, what you do is a second job for CFMA. So it's appreciated.
Yes, it is a second job.
This podcast is all about your experiences and what you've learned in the field of construction finance. And is there a piece of advice that sticks out in your mind that you've received where you find yourself thinking about it or going back to it and applying it to your life now?
Yeah, absolutely. I mentioned this during the chairman's speech, and that is the concept that all pain comes from violated expectations. I ran across this advice when we first, several years ago, put together, Samantha Hutchison, chairman at the time, created a task force on leadership development to look into some of the problems that we were having in finding and promoting leaders within the association. And the task force explored that concept. That was kind of became our mantra, is that all pain comes from violated expectations. And when you realize that everything that whether, and again I mentioned this in speech, whether it's from disappointment to heartache and grief, all of this comes from some violated expectation, where you had one expectation in mind, but the reality is it came out somehow different than that. And so if you can learn to manage expectations better, we can eliminate a lot of pain, a lot of disappointment and upset by managing expectations. So by far, that's the best advice I ever got, is manage expectations.
That is definitely something that people need to actively and consciously work on, because expectations are always changing and flowing, and it's hard to tunnel vision your way and not end up disappointed sometimes.
Yes, absolutely. And and it's unavoidable. It's going to happen. But if you understand what caused that disappointment, that it was just maybe my expectation was off a little bit, it makes it easier to accept.
Great advice to hear. And do you have advice for someone new to the construction finance industry?
Well, this is a softball. It's so easy. If you're new to the construction industry, you got to join CFMA. I tell my own staff all the time that there's a difference between having a job and having a career. And if you want to have a career, you need to join an association related to your career path. And CFMA allows you to turn your job into a career. And so it's very important. And, one of the things that we came out with a few years back was the CFM Academy, for example, which is really targeted for people new to the industry. And that's something that I could have used some 25, almost 30 years ago now when I first joined CFMA. I was a classic example of somebody that, while I knew accounting, I didn't know construction accounting. And had the CFM Academy existed back then, that would have given me that leg up I need to make that transition and to understand the specific items about construction accounting that you may not learn at school. These are concepts that they may touch on briefly, but we go a little bit deeper into them at the CFM Academy. So, like I said, that's a simple answer. Join CFMA is the right thing to do if you're new to this industry.
Well, there is no wrong answer, but that might be the best answer.
And take the CFM Academy.
All right, and CFM Academy. Got it. So, Kevin, we have one last question for you, and it's unplanned, but I would like you to share with everyone vocally, because this is an audio medium, your blazer of choice for this interview.
Oh.
Everyone knows Kevin owns magnificent blazers. We've seen them highlighted on multiple videos now, and it would be rude of me to keep this knowledge to myself for this interview.
Well, my favorite blazer, and I have mentioned it in videos before, would have to be velvet tuxedo blazer. I've got several of them in multiple colors, and today I'm happy to be wearing a blue velvet tuxedo blazer. That is my hands down favorite. Unless I'm going to a Golden Knights game, in which case it's my Golden Knights blazer.
I think I need to step up my blazer game and get myself a Calgary Flames blazer.
You need a Calgary Flames blazer for sure.
I think this is going to be my next shopping expedition. So
every true hockey fan has a blazer representing their team. Some may go for a jersey, but what's wrong with a blazer?
Well, Kevin, thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Voices of CFMA. Appreciate you taking the time and sharing your insight and experience with our members. And I have to say thank you for a wonderful year as chairman. It's been great working with you.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Kate. I appreciate you having me here today. Thank you for putting together this podcast. It's wonderful to listen to all the people in and around the world at CFMA. I really do enjoy the podcast. So again, thank you for having me here today.
Thanks for joining us this month, Kevin. That's all we have time for this episode, but join us next month when we sit down with Chairman Pam Hepburn for a chat about her career in the construction finance industry and what she has planned as chairman for the 2021-2022 year. If you enjoyed this podcast, don't forget to like and subscribe and share on social media. And if you're interested in learning more about the Construction Financial Management Association, check out cfma.org. Until next month, bye-bye.